This is a PSA for you to vote. And if you don't vote, I'm going to break your kneecaps. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi. My name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So if you guys like that, you happen to just love my gorgeous face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. How are we doing? We're 2 days away from, well, 1 day away from the election. Please vote. Either way, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about voting and why you should vote. And if you don't vote, I will break your kneecaps. Legally, I'm going to say that's alleged, but I cannot confirm or deny. I'm looking at you, Sally from Wisconsin. I don't know if that's even accurate. I'm sorry. I'm joking, but like seriously, like go vote. So if you are, not an American and you're not from the US, or you're young and you're trying to write a paper on why you should vote, here I'm going to tell you. So, the Constitution establishes the U.S. as a federal democratic republic, which means that we have an indivisible union of our 50 states. It's a democracy because people govern themselves, and it's representative because people, elect government officials, like what we're doing literally on Tuesday. And it is a republic because the government derives power from the people. That is right. We pay politicians. We can fire them just as easily. A democracy is a system of government that basically is the whole population or all eligible voters elect representatives. Federal elections occur, and federal meaning like big elections occur every 2 years on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Every member of the House of Representatives, which represent the people, and 1/3 of the Senate are up for re-election in any given election year. And the presidential election is held specifically every single 4 years, which is what's happening right now. Yes, on Tuesday, November 3rd. Go vote. So what can the president do, and why is it so important that we elect a person that has brain cells? Well, the Constitution assigns the president with powers to sign or veto legislation, which means if you want to legalize marijuana and the president says they're not with legalizing marijuana, even if it goes through all the checks, it goes through your state, it goes through the Congress, the president can still say no. So think about that. The president can also convene or adjourn Congress. He or she can remove executive officers. President can also make treaties, which needs to be ratified by 2/3 of the Senate. The president can control the formation and communication of foreign policy. He or she can also direct the nation's diplomatic corps. The president can also appoint Article 3 judges, which, as we know, in the event of a Senate recess, the president can also make temporary appointment in that instance. The president can also manage national affairs and priorities of the government. The president can issue rules, regulations, and instructions called executive orders, which still has to get approved, but it's kind of scary. Also, the president has binding force of law upon federal agencies, but does not require the approval of the United States Congress, which is interesting. And also, executive orders are subject to judicial review and interpretation. President does a lot more than what I just said, but just so you know, it does matter who you vote for president. You can still, vote for your local elections, vote for, the House, the Senate, but the president is really important too, more important than what you might think. And how we elect the president is a system called the Electoral College, which you can say what you want about it. I'm just going to tell you what it is if you don't know. Because when I was younger, I thought that you voted president and that vote was immediately it's not how that works. So the Electoral College is basically a system that was set in, the Constitution, something like that. I'm literally making a video about this and I do not know because I did not research it. But the Electoral College was invented, back when they were creating the nation, as I like to say. And basically it has a selection of electors. These electors are assigned to a specific area. So let's say there are 55 electors in California. I think I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But these electors are made so that basically your vote goes to a statewide tally. And then in 48 states, aside from Maine and Nebraska, there is a little bit different. But a presidential candidate needs about 270 votes from these electors in order to win the election, which is what distinguishes the election. Not popular vote, but the electoral college. And in most cases, a projected winner is announced on election night, and then they count, and then they see if that's actually accurate or not. It doesn't require them to vote accurately. They can literally be yeah, I'm still going to vote for Donald Trump, even if the people that they're counting the votes for all voted for Joe Biden. But that's only some states. I don't know if that's still accurate now, but that is something to note. So please read your state's policies on that if you are curious. Now, the Electoral College, obviously, that's one way that, they count our votes, but also there's a thing called voter suppression. As a Black person, I can tell you voter suppression is something that is real. I have many videos about Black issues, Black problems, if you want to look at that. If not, that's also fine. It does not matter. But voter suppression is basically a strategy that is used to suppress votes. It can be, a way, it's like a low-key way to get someone to not vote. Because let's say, for instance, they shut down polling areas all in the Black community, right? And the only available one is one that's available in the middle of a place where if you went there, you probably would get lynched. They might put the only possible place you can go to vote there. Because on election day, you have to vote, at a certain place. You can't just go to California and decide to vote there when you're a Florida resident, These things are important. And ways that people like to suppress votes is, as we know, the mail got slowed down for USPS. They also sped up the Supreme Court appointment, as you guys know. They shut down polling places in Black communities and opened up more and more white-led communities. They also stopped counting people in the 2020 census that were people of color, which then messes up the representation and messes up funding for their districts as well. Also, as you guys know, the 15th Amendment was passed in 1869, and that was it. Black men were now allowed to vote. However, this was kind of the first case of voter suppression that we kind of saw in the U.S., was that they would make them take literary tests, and make them take poll taxes, and just so many other things that could discourage Black men from voting when they were allowed to. And same with women. When women were able to vote in 1920, that also became a thing. They tried to make women not vote. And this, voter suppression thing, it stopped becoming a legal thing, I guess, after the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which ended the Jim Crow laws. And that was kind of a way for them to try to, help that, but it didn't really. The government and places like that just found more easy things to do instead of that. But for me to tell you about why your vote matters, what I will say is that you might be sitting at home thinking you just found out what the Electoral College was, and you're my vote doesn't really matter. Well, I'm going to tell you, bud, it does. Because you might have that thought. And yes, maybe if you specifically do not vote, that might not do much of anything. I highly doubt that there's going to be a 1 vote difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. However, your thought is not your thought alone. In fact, I can almost guarantee that probably maybe 200,000 Americans think the exact thought that you did. So, if all of those 200,000 Americans decide not to vote, guess how big of a margin that could be for the president. And I'm going to tell you why. So, in 2000, Al Gore and Bush ran for president that year, and Al Gore lost. As we know, the Supreme Court case, Bush versus Gore. And in the end, Bush won the recount in Florida by 0.009. You want to know how many votes that was? 537. Which means if 600 people who were Al Gore supporters voted for Al Gore, he would have won. Do you understand what's going on here? We could have had an entirely different presidential thing happening right now if it weren't for that election. So think about that. And in more recent stuff, something that's a little bit more, to get to you, because you might be like, oh, well, 600 votes, that's stupid, right? Let me show you something that's even more stupid. In 2016, as we know, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton ran against each other, and we know Donald Trump won. But do you want to know how he won? I'll tell you. So basically, 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million people. Yet Donald Trump won because of the electoral college votes. And I'll explain why. So basically, even though more people voted for Hillary Clinton, because those 3 million people weren't in those swing states, like let's say Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, that were higher votes for Donald Trump, they got the votes for Donald Trump, even though more people voted for Hillary Clinton. So Donald Trump won because of the electoral college, not because of popular vote. And you could say you feel like popular vote should be the reason for president. Many people think that. I'm just relaying the information. I don't want anybody to attack me. If the frame changed, I'm sorry. My phone just died randomly. But that is why your vote is important, guys. You could literally be you and your small group of friends in your high school. Like, you could be the deciding vote between whether or not, like, it's something that you need to think about. It's something that you might be like, oh, well, I'm not going to vote because what's the use? Or you may have missed early voting and you're like, I'm not going to wait in that long line and have to vote, Please do it, because you have no idea what your vote could mean. I'm so sick of seeing so many people being like, oh, I'm not going to vote because what's the point? I'm not going to vote because Trump is going to win anyways. If you want Trump to be out of office, go vote him out. If you want Joe Biden to be president, go vote for him. Don't just sit back and be like, oh, I'm not going to vote because I don't feel like it. Your vote does matter, and I don't want you to sit here and think that your vote doesn't mean anything, because it does. It literally does, and I'm begging you. I know I don't have a big platform. I know I don't have many subscribers. But in the off chance that you are a new person, you're seeing this video and you might not ever see my face ever again, please remember that this face is telling you to go vote. David Dobrik and so many other influencers are getting their fans to go register to vote. He got over 100,000 people to register to vote. And that's crazy. And registering to vote is different than actually voting. But like, if we get that many people voting, like, you have no idea. Like, Generation Z, even though a lot of Gen Z cannot vote, that young demographic of like 18 to 25 year olds, like, we could really like swing a vote. Like, we could swing an election, So think about it. Hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, because it really helps small channels like mine. Make sure to also subscribe down below. I really, really, really want to get to 600 subscribers by the end of the month. And yeah, so make sure to stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.